What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today as we start talking about the Chicago Bulls once more, there's an interesting topic that has kind of come around for the Chicago Bulls. And you know what, in all fairness, this is very old news, but I haven't really got a chance to talk about it. And it is a big piece of news as well that's gotten not only Bulls players upset, but the majority of Bulls fans quite frustrated as well. And that is the firing, maybe to mutual parting of ways. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's the fact that the Bulls let go of Peter Patton, or Peter Patton left the Chicago Bulls, and we are now left without our director of, I guess, development and whatnot, which brings a lot of questions and a lot of disappointment, in all honesty, as well, especially with how things kind of happened. And that to me is more frustrating than anything. So what I want to do is discuss my point of view. Granted, I don't really have all the details at this point in time, but talk about my point of view about this situation and why this could be a disaster for the Chicago Bulls. There could be more ways than one, but I'll discuss a specific one in this video. But before we get any further, if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and the firing of Peter Patton. Is it a good move? Is it a bad move? Ultimately, what is next? And can we find a replacement? Do we even try to find a replacement? There's so much to discuss in this regard. But I think it's safe to say that things didn't go the way the Bulls probably wanted to in this regard. There have been multiple reports suggesting that Bulls players are pissed of the idea of Peter Patton leaving the Chicago Bulls, saying that he was a very significant part of their development. He was the real deal, and that this is a big let go for the Chicago Bulls. Now, when players of your organization is saying that about a shooting coach, a development coach, it speaks volumes to the impact he has made, not only on a personal level, but on the basketball court with some of these guys. And look, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the stats kind of back this up as well. I mean, for a guy that has been known as one of the best shooting coaches in the league, you have seen the Bulls' three-point shooting skyrocket from last season to this season. And that is obviously because of the way that we play now, the style of play that we like. But let's be honest, you got to knock down the shots as well in order to play that way. So I think Peter Patton is going to be a big miss for the Chicago Bulls. How big remains to be seen. But when players are pissed, that's a genuine indicator of, I guess, something that they feel like it's going to be a huge miss. So we'll have to figure that out next season and the seasons after. But look, at the end of the day as well, it seems like there was a bit of miscommunication or maybe a lack of understanding between the front office and Peter Patton himself. The report that I read said that Peter Patton has always been someone that speaks his mind and is very vocal about situations, whether it's positive or negative. And in that regard, maybe he said something that would trigger Arturas Karnisovas and the Bulls general management team, and what's front office, let's say, and that obviously may have led to the departure. My opinion on this is really sad to see. If that is the reason why he has left the Chicago Bulls, it is genuinely, it's like a piss take, in my opinion. That's how I view it. It's really sad to see, because if we're letting go of people that have been genuinely honest and has a genuine care for the Chicago Bulls, when you have a genuine care about something, you're going to be honest. You're going to be honest with them. You're going to be honest about the goods and the bads, the pretties and the uglies, the potential and even the disappointments. You're going to be honest about all of that. And sometimes you need to hear these things. And the Bulls front office, whether they like it or not, needs to hear the honest truth about their poor decision makings and the right decisions they have made as well. This is not just about the negatives. So if someone's being let go for telling the truth or telling their version of the truth, that's incredibly sad to see. It's a very disappointing way to go, and that's why I think it's generated as much buzz as it has. It's because he told the truth in his eyes and he was let go for it. It's probably why the players are upset. It probably was a very sudden thing for them, and that is something that just should not happen. And it really sends a message to the locker room, and it sends a really bad message across the NBA as well about how we may be treating the staff that works here. That could be a big thing or a small thing. It depends on, I guess, the severity of how bad this is. But seriously, that could be what it boils down to. It could send a message to the rest of the league that the Bulls will only hire people that are willing to kind of view someone else's, I guess, standpoint and not have an opinion of their own. Maybe not have different sort of ideas. I really hope that's not the case. I'm definitely not going to be out here accusing the Chicago Bulls of anything. It's just the things that I've read. And at the end of the day, reading something doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. So I hope that the Bulls seriously did not fire someone for speaking their truth. And maybe it was more of a mutual, I guess, departing of ways and all these things. I sincerely hope so. But again, is this a big loss? Yes, it is. It is a very big loss. When players are out here being vocal about it, it is a huge loss. And I can only imagine the type of players now that are going to have to find another way to develop their shooting and develop their game. We needed a guy like Peter Patton on this team. From three-point shooting in two years ago to where we are now, it's key that it's an indicator of the improvement we have made, and he has a role to play in that. But guys like Josh Giddey has improved his shot this season. Guys like Ayo Dosunmu has improved his shot this season. Kobe White this season. You know, all of this has happened within a very short time frame, and development of that is very important. The last thing we need as an organization and as a team is to go into next season and kind of regress from the three-point line, or regress in terms of the shots taken, or maybe the way that we shoot our shots and all these things, percentage-wise. So you do need coaches that could kind of maintain that sort of stature, and you do need coaches that could develop players from the three-point line. I really hope that the Bulls know what they're doing in this regard, because whether we find a replacement or not, we're going to find out a lot next season about the regression of this team from the three-point line. Whether it's a big one or not, we're going to find out. And I really hope the Bulls know what they're doing. Now let's kind of talk into some opinion pieces here. So there was a rumor suggesting that Peter Patton had no longer wanted to work with Patrick Williams, or just felt like he couldn't do much more with Patrick Williams. I feel like, personally, I don't think a coach would publicly say this. I don't know if this is true or not, by the way, but if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. All I could say is I think a lot of people have given up on Patrick Williams being a superstar. And I think now we're at the point where we're asking Patrick Williams to make the best out of a really bad situation. He's been given a lot of money. He's been asked to be kind of a 3-and-D guy. And that's not what we foresaw when we drafted him, or at least the Bulls didn't. It's an indication of another failure, potentially. So now he's kind of in this spot where he's not the future of the team. He's probably not going to be a starter for the rest of his career. He's probably going to be on the bench for the Bulls for a while with the development of Matas Buzelis. If Peter Patton had nothing left to show him, okay, it is what it is. There's not much we could do about that. But I definitely think it's more of an opinion piece than anything. And yeah, ultimately that's quite frustrating in of itself. You know, like, you don't want a coach giving up on a player. It's a really bad indication of what that player's future is going to look like in the NBA and whatnot. So I guess that's the first opinion piece that I kind of read about and saw. And that was quite frustrating. And ultimately, the second thing is that I saw this in a video. Basically, the Bulls do have development coaches in there with their assistant coaching team. They have veteran assistant coaches that can probably take over the development part of the Chicago Bulls. Well, look, we're going to have to put a lot of trust in this coaching staff. And that's probably going to be a video for a different time, talking about the veteran assistant coaches that we do have and how they can probably develop superstar or develop players if need be. And, you know, we're going to have to trust that that is going to be the way that we go, because I don't personally think we're going to be finding a replacement for Peter Patton. I really don't. You know, I think it took ages to get him in here. So it's probably going to take ages to find a typical type of replacement for that. We'll have to wait and see. But with the veteran assistant coaches that we may have, hopefully, that decide to stay with the Chicago Bulls this season, maybe there is someone that could take over that development. It's just quite sad that we're asking for someone from the assistant coaching staff to step up and be that director of development when we had someone there that was their specific role in the league. So you look, it's like when you're, for example, just a regular type of job, right? Maybe someone calls in sick. or something like that. And you're asking someone that's never done that job to kind of take over and do that job for a day. That's how I view it, at least. You're asking for someone that's primary role is to assist Billy Donovan and assist the coaching staff to now be the development coach for the Chicago Bulls. Sure, many other teams might have something similar in place, but the Bulls had a different, unique way that was working. And now you're asking someone else to share that responsibility from being an assistant coach and a director of, I guess, development. To me, it's a regression, no matter how you see it. Yes, it could still work. Yes, you might still be able to find success in it, but regression is regression. And that's another point of view, and that's an opinion piece that I've read that I do agree with. Just as much as assistant coaches can be, I guess, leading the development for the Bulls, and it probably will be normal around the league to see that. The Bulls did it differently, and at the end of the day, it was working. And now we're going to have to kind of figure that out, whether we continue to do it differently or whether or not we do go the assistant coach route and kind of play it the normal way. I don't know. It just all seems like a complete mess of a situation, and I really hope that the players could find a way to get over this, because the last thing we need is player morale to get destroyed by a coach leaving the Chicago Bulls. Let's hope we could get over this. But, yeah, time will tell. So, yeah, this is my first video back. If it wasn't perfect, I'm sorry. If it was perfect, it's fantastic. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.